There's something different about Alexandra Eala. Not just the way she plays, but the way she thinks. Most 20-year-olds coming off a tough loss at one of the biggest clay events on the tour would do what anyone would expect. Pack the bags, get on a flight home, ice the legs, maybe scroll through the phone for a few days, and mentally decompress. That's the normal move. That's the human move. But Alex didn't do that. The moment her run ended at the Madrid Open, she wasn't sitting in a locker room thinking about what went wrong. She was already looking ahead, already locked in on the next one. And the next one came fast. The Catalonia Open in La Bisbal de Empordà, Spain. A smaller stage, sure. But don't let that fool you, because what happens on smaller stages often determines who gets to stand on the biggest ones. And Alex knew that. That's the part of the story that doesn't get told enough. Everyone talks about the results, the wins, the losses, the rankings, the seedings. But nobody talks about the decisions made in the quiet moments, the ones that happen right after the disappointment, right when the choice is yours to either slow down or step forward. Alex stepped forward, and that says everything you need to know about where her career is going. Now, let's go back to Madrid for a second, because context matters here. The Madrid Open is not a casual tournament. It's one of the premier clay events on the WTA calendar. The field is stacked, the pressure is real, and the points are significant. For a 20-year-old to even be competing in that environment, competing seriously, not just showing up, but actually pushing through rounds and testing herself against elite-level opponents, that alone is a statement. Her run ended in the second round. And yeah, on paper, a second-round exit sounds like a step back. But tennis people know better than that, because sometimes the most growth happens in the matches you lose. When you're up against a player ranked above you, on a fast clay surface, in front of a crowd that didn't come to see you win, and you still find a way to compete, to hang in rallies, to execute your game plan even under pressure, that doesn't disappear when the match ends. That stays with you. It becomes part of your baseline. And Alex carried that baseline straight into Catalonia. She didn't let it cool down. She didn't let the memory of that match fade into frustration or overthinking. She took that energy, that heightened level of play, and she channeled it forward. That's not just physical discipline. That's mental maturity at a level that most players don't reach until they're several years deeper into their careers. And she's doing it at 20. Think about that for a moment. The decision to play the Catalonia Open right after Madrid wasn't just about staying busy. There was real strategy behind it. In the clay season, match rhythm isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. Training on clay and actually competing on clay are two completely different things. You can hit 1,000 forehands in practice. You can run drills until your legs give out. But nothing replicates the pressure of a live match. The way your mind works when the score is close. The way your body reacts when you're 2 shots away from losing a set. The adjustments you make mid-rally when your opponent is reading your patterns. None of that gets sharpened in practice. It only gets sharpened in real matches against real opponents with real stakes. So by jumping straight into Catalonia, Alex was doing something incredibly smart. She was keeping her game warm, keeping her footwork tuned, keeping her decision-making sharp. On clay especially, that continuity is everything, because clay is slow and demanding and physically punishing in a way that hard courts just aren't. Every point takes longer. Every rally is a negotiation. Every mistake costs more. The players who thrive on this surface are almost always the ones who play the most on it, not the ones who take breaks between events and try to rebuild their feel from scratch. The ones who stay in it, who keep playing, who let the surface teach them something new every single match. And that's exactly what Alex is doing. Now here's where it gets interesting. At the Catalonia Open, Alex isn't walking in as a wild card or a hopeful underdog. She's seated sixth, and I know that might sound like a minor detail, but it's actually a significant shift in how the story reads. Because being a seed means the tournament recognizes you as a contender. It means the draw is structured so that your early rounds are more manageable, which gives you the chance to build momentum before the tougher matches arrive. But it also means something else. It means there's a target on your back now. Every lower-ranked player in that bracket is looking at Alex's name and thinking, this is my shot. This is the match that could change my week, maybe my season. So the mental challenge flips completely. In Madrid, she was the one trying to create the upset. In Catalonia, she's the one trying to survive it. And navigating that role reversal, staying composed and confident when the pressure comes from a different direction, that's a real test of where she is as a competitor. And honestly, this is the test that matters. Because the elite players, the ones who eventually crack top 20, top 10, they're not just the ones who can upset higher seeds. They're the ones who can handle being the favorite, who can show up in the early rounds and take care of business without getting sloppy or complacent. That's a skill on its own. And we're about to see if Alex has it. The field at the Catalonia Open is worth paying attention to. You've got players like Leylah Fernandez, Wang Xinyu, and others who are absolutely capable of going deep in a tournament like this. These aren't pushover opponents. These are players with real weapons, real experience, and real motivation to win. So it's not like Alex is walking into an easy bracket and collecting wins. The competition is genuine. But here's the thing. In a field like this, one where the very top of the WTA ranking isn't flooding the draw, the path is realistic. If Alex hits her stride early, if the first round or two click into place, and she starts feeling the rhythm she carried out of Madrid, then she becomes one of the most uncomfortable players in the bracket to face. Because she's not just playing with potential anymore, she's playing with something to prove. And that combination, talent plus urgency plus momentum, is genuinely dangerous. Opponents who are seated higher than her or ranked above her might be technically better on paper. But paper doesn't win matches. Hunger does. Momentum does. And right now, Alex has both. Let's talk about the actual tennis for a second, because the tactical side of her game tells its own story. The areas that will be most critical for her at the Catalonia Open are her serve consistency and her ability to stay in long baseline rallies without cracking. In Madrid, there were stretches where she held her own in extended exchanges, moments where her ground strokes had real depth and her movement was clean. But there were also moments where the longer the rally went, the more vulnerable she became. And against players who are experienced clay quarters, that vulnerability gets exposed quickly. The key for her here is first serve percentage, not necessarily how hard she serves, but how often she lands that first ball in play. Because when she's hitting second serves repeatedly, opponents start leaning in. They start stepping up and taking the ball early, which disrupts her timing and puts her on the back foot almost immediately. If she can keep her first serve percentage up and mix in some variation with the placement, flat versus slice versus kick, she takes that weapon away from her opponents and keeps the points starting on her terms. And then in the rallies, the adjustment she needs to make is in her shot selection when the exchanges get long. Instead of going for a big winner on the fifth or sixth ball, trusting the rally, being patient, moving the opponent around, and waiting for the right moment. That's what separates the players who go 3 rounds on clay from the ones who go 5, 6, 7. It's not always about hitting harder. Sometimes it's about hitting smarter. And the more matches she plays in this stretch, the more that instinct develops. Which is exactly why this week matters so much. Now, zoom out a little and look at the bigger picture of the clay season. Catalonia isn't the destination. It's a stop on the road. After this comes the Italian Open in Rome, which is one of the most prestigious events on the entire calendar. And then Roland Garros, the French Open, the biggest clay court stage in the world. And you don't walk into Roland Garros underprepared. You don't show up in Paris hoping that a couple of practice sessions and some good intentions are going to carry you through 5 sets against players who've been living on clay for weeks. You need matches in your legs. You need confidence in your game. You need to know that your serve holds under pressure, that your backhand doesn't disappear when the rallies get long, that your mind stays clear when the score gets tight. And the only way to know all of that is to play. And play. And play some more. That's what Alex is building right now. Every match at Catalonia is a deposit, a small piece of preparation that compounds into something bigger by the time Paris arrives. The players who peak at Roland Garros don't usually get there by accident. They get there because they put in the work in exactly these kinds of moments. The smaller tournaments, the quieter weeks, the matches that most people outside the sport's hardcore following don't pay much attention to. But those matches matter. They always matter. And Alex understands that. There's one more thing I want to address because it's important and it doesn't come up enough in conversations about young players pushing through a heavy schedule. That's the physical side. The no-break approach that Alex is taking is bold. But bold doesn't mean reckless. Clay is one of the most physically demanding surfaces in tennis. The sliding, the long rallies, the repeated explosive movements, the stop-start nature of baseline exchanges, all of it accumulates in the legs and hips and lower back in a way that takes a real toll. So the question isn't just whether she's mentally ready to compete again. It's whether her body is being managed properly to support that decision. Recovery between matches, sleep, nutrition, physiotherapy, these things matter enormously when you're playing tournament after tournament in the same physical environment. And if those pieces are in place, which you'd hope they are given the level of professional support that comes with being a seeded player on the tour, then the decision to play straight through makes complete sense. But if recovery gets cut short, if fatigue starts showing up in her movement in the 3rd set of a tough match, that's where the risk of the approach reveals itself. It's a tightrope, and how she walks it this week will tell us a lot about the team and support structure around her. Because great players aren't built alone. They're built with coaches, fitness trainers, and a team that helps them make the right calls even in the moments when everything feels fine on the surface. So as we look ahead at her week at the Catalonia Open, here's what I'm watching. I'm watching how she starts her first match. Not just whether she wins, but how she plays. Does she come out with clean ball striking? Does the serve look reliable? Does she move well and recover between points? Because a player who enters a tournament fresh and settled plays differently than one who's carrying fatigue or doubt. And the opening games will tell that story almost immediately. I'm watching how she handles the pressure of being a seed. The moments when a lower-ranked opponent comes out swinging and tries to bully her off the court early. Does she stay calm? Does she make adjustments? Or does she tighten up and start playing not to lose? That mental response is everything. And I'm watching the rallies, the long ones, the ones that go 10, 12, 15 shots. Because on clay, those rallies are where the match is actually decided. And the player who stays cleaner, stays more patient, and picks the right moment to go for it, that player almost always wins. Alexandra Eala is at an inflection point, not a crisis point, not a crossroads where everything is in doubt, an inflection point where the trajectory of her career could bend upward in a way that becomes really hard to ignore. She has the game. She's shown that. She has the mentality. She's proving that right now with every decision she makes in these weeks. And she has the hunger, that rare, quiet, burning kind of hunger that doesn't announce itself loudly, but shows up every single day in the choices a player makes. Whether to rest or to compete, whether to protect herself or to step into the fire again. whether to play it safe or to trust that the work she's put in is enough to carry her through. Alex keeps choosing the fire. And in this sport, on this surface, in this season, that's exactly the kind of choice that changes careers. So watch this week closely. Not because Catalonia is the biggest tournament on the calendar, but because what happens here, how Alex plays, how she competes, how she handles the moments that nobody outside the stadium will ever fully see. That's the real story. And the real story is always worth watching.